Hey everyone, my name is Will and I am the CEO of Phonely. Thank you so much for stopping by, and today I want to walk you through the background behind how Phonely got started, but most importantly, how to actually use the product. So the story goes, my co-founder and I started Phonely out of a PhD AI research lab. We started this because we wanted to build the most conversationally accurate voices on the market to allow businesses all around the world the ability to create voice agents that didn't just talk like a person, but had the capability to do real-time integrations into their calendars, into their emails, to send text messages, and do the complete suite of the product that we believe needed to exist. We created Phonely off of that. Phonely is by far and away the easiest way for any business to get up and start building a voice agent that answers their phones, schedules their appointments, and does all those different things that you need to do. Our focus from the very beginning has been ease of use and product experience. So with that being said, let's dive right into the product and show you how you can build a voice agent in just under 2 minutes, and it should be able to automate everything that you need on your phone agent. All right, so to get into it, the first thing you're going to land is on Phonely's dashboard page. The dashboard page shows you everything that you need to know to get really interesting, unique insights about your calls, about how many calls you're answering, how many minutes you have, and you have a lot of filtering to suggest by outcome, by call ended reason, call topic, and so much more. The next thing that we have here is agent design. Agent design is when you're going to actually build your agent, and this process can be pretty quick. All right, so let's jump right into it. How do you actually build a voice agent inside of Phonely's platform? Well, we've tried to make this as simple as possible, and you don't need to code and you don't need to learn how to prompt engineer to do it. So let me break down exactly how we can build a voice agent in just under a minute inside of Phonely's platform. The first thing that you want to know is the voice. Phonely's voices come with thousands of different pre-built ones that we've already integrated. You have the ability to import voices from all the different providers on the market, and you have the ability to clone a voice directly in the platform. Now, cloning voices are really powerful if you want to match the perfect accent of your or the sound of your business. You can do that right in Phonely's platform in under 5 minutes. After you've selected the voice, and this is how Phonely is going to talk, the next thing that we'll have you do is import your knowledge. So knowledge-based documents are going to be information that your business might have. This might be frequently asked questions. This might be SOPs. This might be, a lot of different business documents that you might have. You can put them into Phonely's knowledge base, and what we'll do is we use a fancy term called RAG to retrieve this information and surface it on customers' calls. So if they ask how much does it cost, and that information is in the knowledge base, at any point in the conversation, Phonely will be able to answer that knowledge base. The next thing that we have as building an agent is flows. Now, what are flows and what is this Canvas style editor that we have? Well, what a flow is it's basically a conversational script. So when your customers call in, you probably have some things that you're looking to do. A lot of our customers may be doing appointment scheduling, customer service, or various other uses where they're trying to collect very specific types of things from customers. That's what flows are designed for. Flows are designed to be a really easy way for you to map out the different things that you want your customer to do, and you can have multiple flows to handle every single use case. So how would this work actually in practice? Well, let's start completely from scratch, and we'll show you how to build a voice agent in just a second. Okay, so now we have a blank workflow. Let's get started with building in a voice agent inside of Phonely so that it's able to answer and automate our customer calls. For this use case, we're going to pretend to be a doctor's office. So we'll have appointment scheduling, we will have canceling, we'll have rescheduling, we will have the ability for the agent to ask frequently asked questions about our business, and we'll want to gather some information about a customer. That's kind of a complex thing to do. And so I'm going to show you how to build all of that inside of Phonely in just a few minutes. So to get started, the first thing that we're going to want to do is set the greeting. In this situation, I've just said, hello, thank you for calling Will's AI. How can I help? Now, inside of the greeting, we've got a lot of interesting settings that you can adjust, from even the ability to, before the call even connects, what you can do is you can look up some information about your customers via an API or a webhook. This will allow you to greet the call with their name. So say, hey, John, thanks for calling. It's pretty cool, and I don't think we haven't seen that really anywhere else. So it's a very fun feature to employ for your customers. Now, after we've got to set our greeting message of how it's going to answer the phone, the next thing that we'll want to do is we're going to want to add a talk block. And so what a talk block allows us to do is it allows us to create a conversation, a back and forth conversation with a customer with the idea that the agent should be pushing to try to accomplish something, right? So in this situation, what we're trying to do is we're trying to accomplish if the customer wants to maybe what they're calling about today. So we want to understand that. And then we'd like to know the name and then the date of birth of the customer. So to get this set up, it's actually super simple. All I'm going to do is I'm going to type in what I just told you. So gather. So I'm just typing that in. So it's going to gather that information. I think we were looking for the date of birth as well. All right, so then I'm going to hit generate with AI. What hitting generate with AI will do is it's going to take those instructions that you just formatted and it's going to write the perfect prompt on Phonely's backend so that the AI understands exactly what it's supposed to do. Now, what it did here is it formatted this whole entire block for us, so we didn't have to actually do any work other than just thinking, what do we want the AI to do, the person to do up front? So it's kind of like training a person, except for instead of people, well, you're training an AI. In this situation, it wrote a great prompt on gathering the customer's name, determining what they were doing, and then some steps that it needed to do. Figure out the reason for the customer's call, collect the customer's date of birth, and then wait for the customer to respond before proceeding to the next step. In this situation, it's set 4 different exit conditions. As you can see, these exit conditions are set here. Now, what exit conditions do is it allows you to branch off the conversation because maybe at some stage in the conversation, you need to do something else like schedule an appointment. Well, this allows you to say, okay, let's move on to that next step and let's put that information in so that it can actually schedule the appointment, interact with my software, my ERP, my computer to actually do that work. The other really interesting thing that it does is it gathers variables. Now, variables are the AI equivalent of AI taking its own notes. So what that means is that the AI is writing down the customer's name, it's storing that information, and it's formatting it as a name. Now, because this is really important that we get the customer's name, we want to make sure that that's required. So adding required variables is so easy as just checking a button. We want to confirm it, and then to make sure that we have the spelling right, we're going to spell that back. Just like that, the agent is going to go through all those steps, make sure it doesn't proceed anywhere without gathering that information. We're also going to store the date of birth, and then we're going to format it as a date. The AI already knows how exactly you want to format it, and we didn't have to touch a thing to get to this stage. After that's done, this all looks good, so we can go ahead and move on from this node in the conversation. The next thing that we want to do is we're going to fill out these exit conditions. So let's say that they wanted to talk to a specific person. Well, that specific person, we would probably want to transfer it because maybe they left their wallet in the office and they need to talk to Stacy. So in that situation, what we can do is we can just ask who they are looking to talk with, and the options are Bob, Stacy, Jim, and John. So we hit the generate with AI again, and just like that, we will create a series of different options of people to talk to. So now we've got 4 different options here, Bob, Stacy, Jim, or John. Perfect. Now in each one of these, what we can do is we can set it up to transfer a call to a different person. We can do one of 2 ways inside of Phonely. One of them is a cold transfer, which allows us to just, okay, it's time to transfer it over, and then passes it to them. But we've got a really cool feature that's called warm transferring. And what warm transferring allows us to do is allow us to pass information over to the caller, but not just that. It allows us to wait until the caller acknowledges that there's a person on the line to actually accept the call. What this means is if we call somebody and it hits a voicemail, well, what we can do is we can pull that conversation back and say, looks like there was nobody available at that time, and then we can continue the conversation. Now, as that process is going, the AI can actually continue to talk during that time. So the AI will have a conversation with the customer. They won't even know what's happening, but we're actually going to check if the customer is available. And then we're going to say, okay, looks like they weren't available at this time. Can I take down some information? It's a really powerful feature, and it was surprisingly hard for us to build into the platform. All right, so after we've completed filling in the information for the transfer call, we have this transfer failed option. I want to walk through this. It's pretty cool. The transfer failed option means, well, the person wasn't available. Maybe it went to voicemail. In that situation, what we're doing here is we are going to engage with the customer because we're still on the line with them. And we're going to say, ask the caller why. Or maybe we're going to say, let the caller know that was available. And okay, so there, what we're going to do is we're going to gather some information about what they need to leave a message. We're going to let the caller know that nobody's available, and we're going to generate that with AI. All right, so now we've gathered some information that we want to pass on to the customer because nobody's available. We're taking that information down. We're going to gather the caller's name, the phone, and their message that they're going to do. This is all generated by AI again. So we're going to end the call here. But let's say that at this stage, maybe I want to send an email or a Slack message letting us know that there was a missed call about the customer's use case. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to connect our Slack integration. Just connect that really quick. All right, so once we've gone ahead and connected our Slack, what we can do is we can create a message and we can put it in to a channel. So we're just gonna message in the randoms channel that we had a new missed call for, in this case, Stacy, right? So we've got a new missed call for Stacy, and so what we wanna do is we wanna notify them. So we say new missed call from, and then we can actually just put in the phone number right here. So in Phonely, we have all of the information that we gathered stored in this variable tab in the side panel. So we're gonna say, this is their missed call. Here is their message that they typed in. And that information we can gather from the last question, which was take message details. So there, we wanna get the caller's message. And then if we wanna send the call summary, so we can send that here. And we have a really handy @ feature to make that super, super simple. And then if we want to send the recording over so that we can view all of this in Slack, well, we can do that as well. So this summary is actually generated by AI. So you can get a summary of the call. All right, and then let's say that we want to send the link to actually view Phonely's call in the URL here. So we'll do dashboard URL. And just like that, now, every time we send this information over, we'll get a summary of that information sent directly to our Slack channel so that we know every single missed call when it happens, so we can either call them back or deal with it appropriately. All right, so the post call actions, now this post call action here is only gonna be triggered if this node executes. So the way that this works is we can customize it at any stage to only send personalized notifications when it's needed to. All right, so let's say that we go through, we connect all of these out with the different people that we want to transfer to. All right, so now that we've got the transfer call all wrapped up with the warm transfer and the voicemail detection already set, the next thing that we want to do is we want to handle scheduling an appointment. So in this situation, we're just going to use our pre-built Google Calendar integration here to go ahead and book an appointment into the calendar. So I'm not going to go through the steps of connecting this, but Phonely has thousands of pre-built integrations that do real-time work. So that means that it can actually integrate with your calendar to schedule appointments, reschedule, cancel, etc. But we can do this inside of our platform without needing to build anything else on top of it. That being said, if you want to do a custom integration, so let's say that you're working with some custom ERP software, well, the ability to create an API request to that system is very, very simple. To do that, all you have to do is add in the API request block, and then you can just directly import from a curl request, which makes that really easy, passing in any variables that you gathered previously, which again are notes like the caller's name and date of birth, into that. So as an example, let's say I'm gonna make a post request, and let's say that I wanna share the caller's name. We can actually use that information from the caller's name that we previously gathered, and let's say that I wanna do date of birth. Well, we can also add that information in here, just like that. In that situation, it's going to make an API request to that endpoint that's going to send over that info and then return a response. We can then deal with that response just like we would in the rest of the flow as we're building out these conversations. So in this situation, we are going to go through and finish completing this flow, and then we're going to show you some of the other features inside of Phonely's platform. All right, after we've built out our flow and we're all set to go, it can now book appointments, cancel appointments, reschedule appointments, transfer to anybody on our staff in just a few minutes. We got that set up. Again, we're using most of the AI to write all of it, but if you want a little trick, you can actually use AI itself to build your own agent. So rather than doing it manually, you can ask Phonely to build their agent and it will configure it for you. So this is a really easy hack that you can do to build voice agents inside of Phonely's platform without having to do all of that manual work. Now, I made you wait till the end to show you that because I wanted you to learn how the system actually worked. All right, and just like that, we've been able to build a Phonely agent in just a few minutes that's able to cancel, schedule, reschedule, send Slack notifications, or transfer a call to anybody in our department based upon request for the customer. For the user's perspective, this is going to sound and talk like a person. But from our perspective, we just defined how we want our AI to run, and it can now scale from 1 call to 1 million calls plus, completing that information accurately every single time. If you want to test the agent out, you can test it right here without having to call in, or you can use Phonely's number that you automatically get as soon as you create an account with us to test it yourself. Now, I want to move into some of the other features we have because they're really, really cool. Phonely is the only platform that allows you to A/B test voice agents. What does this mean? Well, this is an incredibly powerful feature if you're looking to optimize for a specific event. Most of our customers are optimizing for either some sort of conversion, appointment scheduling, or maybe they're optimizing for just customer satisfaction. In Phonely, we give you the ability to A/B test any feature on the platform. This can be the voice, this could be the prompt structure, the API request, how you format things. We give you the functionality to actually do that in the platform so you can see what's working and what isn't. This is a really cool thing that you can do with voice agents that you just can't do with people. All right, so now you've tested your voice agent, you've run a bunch of tests, you figure out the most optimal agent, and you're actually now beating your call center performance, which we see in a lot of our customers. The next thing that you can do, let's say that you want to add outbound calling. Well, Phonely supports outbound calling, and it's one of the easiest ways to set up a campaign structure to make calls, to call your customers, obviously with compliance, to do what you need them to do. So this might be appointment reminders. In this situation, we want to call our customers to remind them that their appointment is coming tomorrow, right? So inside of Phonely, we have the ability to define a new flow that actually does that. Now, what we can do here is we can actually pass in any information that you tell us. So let's say that we need to pass in the customer's name, the customer's email, the customer's phone number, or what time their appointment is. Well, all that information you can pass in to Phonely, and you can use Phonely's make call block to send in this information. So without getting into too much details here, inside of Phonely, you have the outbound variables, which this can be passed in through your source. It might be a CSV upload, it might be integration with your system, it might be Google Sheets, whatever you need, we can pass it through here and we can use it in the conversation. We also have voicemail detection inbuilt, and it's the best voicemail detection currently on the market. So we can detect if it's going to voicemail, and let's say that that call does go to voicemail. Well, what we can do is we can redial the customer after some period of time. So let's say that we want to retry them after 30 minutes. And we want to maybe override the existing voicemail message and leave a new one because that one didn't work. Well, inside of Phonely, we have the ability to redial them to make sure that our customers know that their appointments are scheduled and are confirmed, and they should be showing up to them. And as you can see, we can add multiple attempts to that, which makes that process really, really easy. So after we've gone through and we've created a call flow that's going to let the customers inform the customers that their appointment is tomorrow and give them the option to cancel their appointment, well, what we can do is we can create a campaign so we can test how the pickup rates are, so we can maximize the amount of people that are showing up for their appointments at every single time. The last thing that we're going to show you today is Phonely's call history. It is the state of the art in terms of the tracking and the information that we're actually allowing you and showing you to do. So one of the things that we have here is we have a full view of all the summaries and AI-driven analytics of what happened in the call. So we're telling you the call type, the phone number, the caller's location if they have it. This is a web call, so it wouldn't have that information on it. The sentiment, the ended reason, call topics, and then we're showing you a call flow of all the different things that happen. So maybe it's stored variables like the caller's information, maybe it completed an API request, sent a text message, you name it, we'll show you that information. In this situation here, we can see a full transcript and full recording, but we also see any variables that Phonely did. So it stored some information, and then we see the reasoning that Phonely used. So Phonely has created the first and only real-time voice AI reasoning model on the market. It's really cool, and what it allows us to do is achieve much superior performance than what our competitors are doing, because we're actually letting the AI think about what it's doing before it's making a decision. But the cool thing is we're doing this in real time, so we don't add any additional latency to the request. This is something that you can actually see the transparency of what's going on inside of your voice agent without having to read through a bunch of code, read through a bunch of that type of stuff. It's just already inbuilt in here. All right, the last thing that we're going to show you is the call pass features. Call pass allows us to dive deep into the analytics and figure out how our flows are actually performing. So in this situation, this will show us the breakdown of what caller went to any different path. So if we want to see how many calls went from each direction and hit every node, we can know that. And then we can also know what percentage of calls maybe dropped off at a specific point. So in this situation, we had 14% of calls ended here. That's going to be one call. And so we can actually click on that and then listen to this call. So we maybe can optimize that voice agent to handle that objection or improve on that a little bit better. So that is the entirety of the Phonely platform. There's so much more packed into this that you may not even see. But realistically, what we're trying to do and what we are doing is answering millions of different calls for thousands of businesses to become the easiest voice AI provider on the market that allows you to do exactly what your business does with zero friction. So if you took the time to watch this video to the end, thank you so much. We really appreciate your business and we really appreciate your support. And don't forget that you can get started with Phonely completely for free just by signing up below. So thanks again so much for taking the time, and we really can't wait to see what you build and what you automate on Phonely's platform. And until the next video.